everybody. Welcome to episode 12 of the Stream of Card Consciousness. I am Mark Ford, joined by my partner and brother, Greg Smith, up in the Panhandle of Florida. How you doing today? And we got Scout in the background.
Man, I'm doing fantastic this morning, Mark. It's been a good week, and just looking forward to talking about what we're going to talk about today, and just having a great morning so far, man. How about you?
Good morning. We've gone through our house from top to bottom, and it's all, the spring cleaning and everything ready for summer. And I had a good week at school, and I'm ready to go. And
Right
we're
on.
gonna do our normal cards of the week. I'll do my cards of the week, and then got some other things for you in today's show, a little more mainstream than we have been. So I didn't get a lot of cards this week. My cards of the week, I just have a few. I got this really cool Andre Dawson relic card. It's like, who knows what that is? A piece of something from Andre. It could be his sock, it could be his jock, it could be his pants, but who knows? And then on the back of that is a Cabrera. I didn't realize that when I got it. So it's Cabrera with his,
Nice.
it could be his. Well, I don't think he wears a black jock, but anyway, so it's a Cabrera. Dawson. We got that in the cell that me and Greg were lurking in. It's numbered to 150. But being a Dawson guy, that's really pretty cool.
So
And
that's
then,
Dawson and Cabrera. That's the same
yeah,
card.
same card. Yeah, Cabrera's on the back. I didn't realize that when I got it. And it's
Wow.
got some shinies, and then it's got Andre's, game used socks or whatever those are. Yeah, and it's numbered 126 out of 150. So I thought that
Did
was
it?
pretty cool.
What year is that?
Um,
The idea?
Shoot, now I piqued your interest. Yeah. Let me see. This thing is passing the torch. Donruss Elite, so it's Donruss, and it's oh boy, 2000 and looks like 2001, something like that. It can't be with the Cabrera 2001. So unless
No,
it's an
that's
early
why I'm
rookie year
curious.
Cabrera, yeah, I
He
can't
looks
really
remarkably
tell.
thin in that picture.
Yeah. 2005, I want to
All right.
say something
All
like
right.
that makes sense for Cabrera then.
Cool card.
2005. Yeah, I dug it. Yeah, it was really neat. So, but again, it's really small print. And then this one in the same cell, I couldn't believe my good fortune to get this. Now, again, when we do with modern relics, I don't know, what it is, if it's real, but this is Jimmy Fox. And this is a piece of Jimmy Fox's bat. If you look at that, there we go. Look at that thing. I mean, that's
Look
a
at that
bat.
majestic swing.
Yeah, but I mean, is that really a piece of Jimmy Fox's bat? That's an upper deck, 2001. Jimmy Fox. Yeah, I mean, this one of the greats of all time, and I got this for a song, and there's the piece of the bat allegedly, but who knows? But that's I thought it was pretty cool. Couldn't pass that. And then this one's a bucket list card, which a lot of people, it's could be kind of a weird bucket list card, but it's not a weird as my usual weird. This is actually a Hall of Famer and a great baseball player. But I've always been looking for a really great Bob Gibson 75 centered up with nice color and not beat up. And so I finally got one at a decent price. And I just love it. That thing just pops. So that's
Yeah.
always been a card I wanted. I was able to get that at a good price out of the great state of Ohio. And I love it. I love that card. So those are my three cards of the week.
Nice, nice. Couple of comments on those. Fox. I've done some reading in my Red Sox Nation book. A lot of the old timers, a lot of the really good old timers said he would might have been the best hitter they ever saw.
Hmm.
Really, as far as just power, he hit a ball. They said he hit a ball so hard that it dented the fence, like a major dent. It just a barrel chested dude, and Jimmy Fox really kind of lends into the underrated part of what we're
Yeah,
going to get to later. He would be up there on the list in my opinion. And then that Gibson, that's a beautiful card, man. The colors, and I think that's his last card too. So
I think
that's a good
so.
one to
Yeah,
get. Yeah.
yeah. I
So
love the 75s. They're just, but that's a weird because a beat up 75 is kind of meh, whereas like a 71 that beat up is really neat. But
yeah.
the nice pristine 75 is wow. So I
Oh
was
yeah.
happy to get that. Yeah.
Absolutely. Well, I kind of same boat as you this week. I it was a weird week for me. I bought a lot of like weird rookie lots. So I don't really have. I don't want a 1988 Topps Mark Grace traded to be in my cards of the week. So um, I'm gonna flex a little this week. I got some good
All
stuff
right.
for me. Uh, I got an SGC3, uh,
Ooh,
1959 Mickey Mantle.
flex.
Yeah, right. I don't normally do that, but
It's
I'm
all
so
right.
excited about this card. I've got
Sure.
some mantles, but this is the first one I've ever had in a slab before.
Excellent.
In the 59 All Stars, I think are the coolest All Stars, really. Maybe 61, but 59 to me, just that whole era. Um, Mickey Mantle, I wanted one in a slab. I got it at a great price. So, I that's going straight into PC. And then Josh got me a good deal on this card.
More
So
flexing.
yeah, those are my two really. I mean, those would be cards of the week almost any week, but in a slow week, especially, those are two that I really love. I never thought I'd have that Ryan, honestly, or the rookie, but in my opinion, some folks think he looks weird in that picture, and maybe he does. Yeah, maybe he does, but that really would have been a better choice for his rookie card. And I know they used to do the dual cards back in the day, so I get it, but yeah, that that would have been really a home run for his rookie card. So those are my two cards of the week. Normally it's a little bit more low key, but for me, I was very excited about both of those. So there you
That's
go.
awesome. Well, it
Yeah.
fired up Lady Bean Bean because she came in. She had to take a look at those cards. So you got Lady Bean Bean saw that Ryan, and she said, "Holy cow, we got to come check that thing out." But yeah, that is it's a different card, but it's iconic. I'm glad you got that. That was a powerful flex. I'm glad that you did that. So
Going straight
um,
back into
so
one touch. So
yeah, absolutely, absolutely. Keep that thing safe.
yep.
Don't be like me. I'm always tossing my cards around, dropping them and everything. So then what we're gonna do next, and I'll go first, as I assume Greg will be a little more traditional than I am. We're gonna talk about some undervalued, underappreciated players. I think we all pretty much have similar lists of who we think are undervalued, underappreciated, who could be in a Hall of Fame, who could, who should be. And for me, as a collector, more of like setting time and place. Some of my undervalued, underappreciated will be more for just like the beauty of it, the cards in general, and in addition to the greatness of the player. What and some are personal relationships too as well. But I'm just gonna do a few real quick, and then I'll get into one a little bit. So Manny Trio, I think Manny Trio. Once I got to know Manny, before I met Manny, I was like, Manny Trio, big deal. Then once I met him, and saw, what kind of person he was, and made me dig deeper into his career. Oh my God, his playoff performances, his All Star appearances, his Gold Gloves, his longevity. It was a different era of baseball where, your middle infielders were popping home runs, and he was a tremendous player, and also came from basically the middle of nowhere, Venezuela, and poor, dirt poor, and he's a remarkable player. I think he should be looked at a little bit, higher up in the lexicon. Speaking of Ryan, at one time Frank Tanana was considered his equal, if not better. Awesome dude. Had problems early in life, alcohol. Now he's a devout Christian. If you send to Frank Tanana, he'll sign anything you want and send it back to you. But Frank Tanana's numbers are right up there, and I think he is underappreciated. Again, not so much value, it's just underappreciation. The next one baffles me why he's not in the Hall of Fame. Steve Garvey. There's an autographed Garvey with the Padres, and she could look at the signature. That's nice. Again, amazing player. Had an 8-9 year run. He was Don Mattingly before Don Mattingly, basically. And then Steve Garvey retired, and Don Mattingly became the next one where people scratch their head. Another one, 8-9 years of greatness. This one definitely is a no-brain Hall of Famer. Should be in Hall of Fame, and the numbers stack up equally is Sandy Koufax. Take out the no hitters, but Ron Guidry should be in the Hall of Fame. His numbers are exactly the same as Koufax. Why he's not in the Hall of Fame? And look, he's got a great signature too. Nice guy. So why Ron Guidry is not in the Hall of Fame? I have no idea. This is the only thing a 91 Fleer is good for, is to send out for an autograph. But Juan Gonzalez, again, caught up in the steroids. You know, did he do it? Didn't he do it? But the numbers don't lie. Juan Gonzalez was a bad man, and he's a nice man because he'll sign anything too. They're nice looking at Juan's signature. Send to him in Puerto Rico. It'll be back to you in a couple weeks. And I'm moving quick here. I only have a couple more. John Olerud, another one. John Olerud, nice signature too. Look at that. John Olerud. You see the theme here? Mark tends to send to people that are underappreciated and underrated. John Olerud, another one. This one I think will be on Greg's list. Veda Pinson, numbers definitely Hall of Fame worthy. Should be there. I did not realize how awesome his numbers were until I got back into collecting cards a couple of years ago. And Veda Pinson. All right, so those are my quick ones. It was Veda Pinson, John Olerud, Gonzalez, Guidry, Garvey, Tana trio. All right, so then as far as card collecting, I've said this guy's story. I'm not getting into. I want to move quick here, but Luke Easter. All right. I defy you to find me a run of cards as beautiful as Luke Easter's cards. And here we go. That's a 52 Bowman. Does that not say baseball? Look at how beautiful that is. 1953 Bowman color. All right.
Nice.
Amazing. 53 Luke Easter. Again, look at that. Amazing. 54 Bowman. Look at that. I mean that, right? Okay. And then the 54 tops out there in a slab. Not gonna go get it. But to me, this is my holy grail. I've seen on here in the show. The 51 Bowman rookie card. I mean, that is just amazing. Amazing, amazing, amazing. So for me, undervalued as a collector, underappreciated as a player. He was believed to be beside Josh Gibson, the preeminent power hitter in the history of the Negro Leagues, which was a long, long, long time. The Negro Leagues are in existence. Just an amazing, amazing player. Everybody, by all accounts, an amazing teammate, an amazing man. He gave his life trying to stop a bank robbery, and that's how he died. He was murdered, and that's an indication
Oh,
of his character. In 1977, he was a security guard at a bank, and the guy came in to rob the bank, and he took two shotgun blasts to the chest. Well, that's how he stopped the bank
okay.
robbery, and that's how he died. So Luke Easter, to me, undervalued, underappreciated. Dig in. He was a pioneer. He didn't get to the major leagues until he was early 30s. Hit over 100 home runs in 5 years, and then continued to play in the minor leagues into his 40s. So, by all accounts, an amazing dude. I obviously used it before my time, but I've kind of taken a shine to Luke Easter as my most underappreciated, not just for as a baseball player, but as a human being as well. So those are mine.
Outstanding, man. A few comments on that. I had no idea about Luke Easter. That was that's sad to hear.
It's sad.
Yeah, and the fact, if he'd have played now, there's no chance he would have been having to work as a security guard in a bank.
Mm,
That kind of harkens back to the time that everybody grew up in. I'm this is going to kind of go off on a little tangent here for a second, but I think a lot of older players kick themselves sometimes just looking at the money that these guys make. It's a shame that happened to him. I had no idea about that. Um, just looking at his numbers too, if you extrapolate those, and if he'd have been had the good fortune to be able to play, who knows what he could have done. So, I mean,
definitely.
wasn't he a rookie when he was like 32 or something like
Yeah,
that?
he's 32. Yeah, 32 year old.
Yeah, and that's insane that he was able to put up the numbers he did. But you know, such is the era that he came from, unfortunately. So, Trio Tanana, I remember Trio being, and I think the norm back then for middle infielders was all glove, no bat. And Manny could hit. Mark Belanger's a good example of that. But Manny was one of the best fielding second basemen in the game. I know he had a couple of All-Star cards, if I remember correctly.
Yeah.
Yeah, very underappreciated. And if you dig into his numbers, I mean, he had almost 2,000 hits, I believe. So,
Hmm.
and then Tanana, what do you say about him? I remember him when I first started playing ball collecting. 6, 7 years old, he was one of the best pitchers in the league.
Oh,
And
definitely.
yeah, him and Ryan were formidable, with the Angels. And he kind of fell off, but if he had kept that trajectory, and then Gidry the same thing, really. I think the reason Gidry's probably not on the Hall of Fame is he wasn't as dominant as Sandy, maybe, but he didn't do it for quite as long. But again, if you look at his numbers, I think the writers are going to have to start looking at the eras a little bit more, because 200, 220 wins now, you're a Hall of Famer basically. You don't get that many opportunities. Back then is a whole different game. So Gidry maybe deserves some more consideration. Garvey, I shake my head at Garvey. I'm not real sure what his story is. As far as why he didn't get more love in the Hall of Fame voting. Every year you look in his cards, he's the All-Star first baseman. So I mean, what else do you really want from somebody? His body of work. He played in like 1,200 straight games at one point. So Garvey has a good case. Veda, he's not on my list, but he probably should be. I went way more traditional with this. I kind of I picked some Hall of Famers that I think don't get as much credit as others that probably should. But Veda um, doesn't really seem to get a lot of recognition from the veterans committees either for some reason, which I don't understand at all. Because you look at his numbers, and they were great. They really were. And there's a lot of guys like that. Dave Parker, Al Oliver, those kind of guys. He fits in that category for me. And growing up or playing in the era that he played, I think hurts him a little bit when you got,
Right.
Aaron and Mays and those guys. And Pinson just kind of flew under the radar, even on his own team with Frank Robinson,
Frank,
really.
yeah.
So that's neither here nor there. But hopefully one day the writers or the Veterans Committee will write that. The Golden Rule Committee, I guess, is what it's called. So solid choices, man. Olerud, great hitter. Always thought the batting helmet was cool. So
Yeah.
not to get too long winded about your picks, but I thought those were good choices and a little bit different than what I envisioned for them. But hey, man, you had some solid choices in there, so I appreciate that. So I'm gonna get into mine, and again, mine are way more traditional, I think, and than normal, or not than normal than yours are. So first one in my mind, really, if you look at it, is Jim Palmer. Um, Arguably, I mean, everybody is on Nolan's tip all the time about being a great pitcher in the American League, and I just think if you look at the numbers, Palmer was the best pitcher in the American League in the '70s. I don't think there's really any question. He won 3 Cy Youngs. He won over probably close to 200 games in that decade. Um, and for some reason, he just doesn't get a whole lot of recognition in collecting. So not really sure why. Maybe it's, I mean, his rookie card's not an overproduced set. I don't understand what the hesitancy with Jim Palmer is. So that's my number one. Um, Number two, really, and this guy, I remember when I was 9 years old, Willie Stargell, the Pirates, We Are Family, probably the most famous baseball player in the world at that year. With Pop Stargell, he put him on his back and took him to the title against the Orioles. And that stance and that the way he'd swing his bat, it was really cool. And he doesn't resonate with collecting as much as I think he probably should. Um, Again, why it is can be up for debate sometimes, but I'm just going off the top of my head of people that I think had a really stellar career, were really highly regarded when they were playing, that just don't get the resonance now as much as they should. Number three for me, probably Joe Morgan. You know, Big Red Machine, the arm crank. Um, his rookie card's great. Actually, had somebody pick me up one yesterday at a card show for a really good price. Um, just not really sure. He gets lost in the shuffle, I think, with Bench and Rose and those guys. Perez, maybe even. But as far as two MVPs in a row, I mean, he was an All Star every year, just like Garvey was. Made the Hall of Fame, obviously should have, but he doesn't have. I mean, his rookie card, you can get it. It's a 65, and you can get it for like $30. So 30, $40 in decent shape. So that's unheard of. And for why that is, I'm not really sure. So my next one, Gaylord Perry. Um, Another guy, they say he cheated, used a spitball. He says he cheated, but I mean, he was there for a long time. I think part of the thing that hurts him hobby wise is that he was with a whole bunch of different teams, maybe, just bounced around, and I, just his cards go back to a time. I mean, he looks like kind of like Lurch a little bit. If
Yeah, it's a horrible card.
yeah, he's an odd looking guy.
What is that,
Looking at the
69?
69.
Yeah,
Yeah,
that is a
just
horrifying card.
yeah, it really is. And that's
Scares
right in the
children.
Lurch era, really.
Yeah,
You
right.
know.
Yeah, you don't want to
Yeah,
show that to small children; they'll run screaming.
I probably could have picked a better one, but yeah,
No, that's cool.
he's just flies under the radar. And then the big, probably the biggest one other than Palmer for me really is Frank Robinson.
Hmm.
He 586 home runs, triple crown, uh, won titles with two different leagues, whatever that record is. He was just so good, and his rookie card, if you compare that to a like a Clemente, which is in a similar era,
Hmm.
for some reason, 4 or 5 times the value of the Robinson. So underappreciated, I believe so. I can't figure what it is about Frank Robinson that people don't like or don't love, but those are my five. And like I
Okay.
said, I went a little bit more traditional, I think, than you
Yeah.
did, Mark. So
Yeah,
any
some
comments
thoughts
on
on
mine?
those. Yeah,
Yeah,
definitely. Is Robinson's what, 58? Is that his, or
57.
50, 57? I'm sorry,
Yep.
57, right? 57 is, that's not a bad. Yeah, it's a decent card. That should be more valued. I'm not always, for me, the 59 Frank Robinson is my favorite baseball cards of all time.
Yeah.
I think I've said that on here a few times, man. 59 Frank Robinson is the bomb. I mean, that's amazing. And,
Right.
every time I see it at a good price, I'm gonna pick that thing up because it's awesome.
Oh yeah.
So yeah, Frank Robinson, definitely should be more up in the lexicon, especially with the managing being history as the first African American manager. And he was a good manager. I think sometimes he was a bit surly and a bit blunt, but again, when he would after he got done managing, he worked in the commissioner's office and he devoted his life to baseball and to racial equality and things of that nature. So yeah, definitely Frank Robinson should be on the Mount Rushmore of baseball. That is a great mystery. Good choice. Gaylord Perry. Again, it's feelings and opinions can't be wrong. That's what make us different. I'm not a. I think he hung on and he was okay.
He was a
But
compiler.
a compiler, I think a
Yeah.
little bit.
Yeah,
But
maybe.
he was a great pitcher and he bounced around. And being that I'm such a voracious reader and historian of baseball, I've never heard anybody say a bad word about Gaylord Perry, so I don't know why he bounced around so much. He never bitched about his contract. He was, I guess, he was just maybe that guy that other teams wanted or needed or felt that it would push him over the top. So in defense, again, I always try to see both sides of the coin. The fact that Gaylord Perry played for so many teams might be an indication of his value and his worth to those teams. Like, hey, we got to get this guy. He'll help us. He's a workhorse. We can win. So that's one way you can look at it that way too. So
Yeah.
that could be a positive. Joe Morgan, I always said whenever you see a fire sale, one of the sales in the Facebook groups, you're always going to see a 1969 Joe Morgan in there. For whatever
Right.
reason, that 1969 Joe Morgan must have been quadruple printed because it's in every cell and nobody wants it. So, and I've told the guy, McGregor, why does nobody ever want a 1969 Joe Morgan? So, yeah,
Kind of like a
exactly.
1984 Ron Darling, huh?
Yeah, yeah, but no Hall of Famer though. The folly of man. So yeah, Joe Morgan definitely a great player. And second base again, different position at the time. They weren't supposed to be bopping home runs, and he hit plenty of them. And he did other things. He was Ryan Sandberg before Ryan Sandberg. Then Ryan Sandberg came after Joe Morgan. And I'll be honest, I don't watch as much baseball as I used to, because I think it's dull and boring. I do like what they've done in live, in person. Sit me down all day. But he was a fantastic announcer with John Miller. I mean, Joe
Yeah,
Morgan
I agree.
was probably the best announcer I've ever heard for baseball, as far as on television. The old timers, Red Barber, Vince Scully, all that. Obviously, totally different category. I'm not saying that, but Joe Morgan was phenomenal. Was it ESPN Sunday Night Baseball?
Yeah, you
God,
knew it
they,
was Sunday Night Baseball when you heard those 2 for
yeah,
sure.
they were sensational. I mean, just
Yeah.
amazing. Well, Willie Stargell, again, I don't get that one. Why he wouldn't be great numbers, great leader, great dude, a good mentor to the players. In so many books and stories I've heard that Willie, what he would do with the young players and how he would welcome them home, and just an amazing guy, cover their meals, show them how to do it, how to be a professional. So yeah, the pops was top notch. Jim Palmer, I think the thing here is a good point. Well, Jim Palmer, Steve Garvey is, they were too neat, they were too clean, they were too pretty. That was an era when baseball, you're supposed to be, Pete Rose is the hero. Like a
And you're supposed
person.
to look like Don Mossy.
Right, exactly. And or Gaylord Perry in
Right.
the 1969 Small Children Run Away. But too pretty. I've read and heard things from people that they were too slick, too pretty, too clean. For that fact, that a lot of Garvey's teammates, I've talked to a few of Garvey's teammates, they didn't really trust him, which is stupid,
Really?
because the guy was, oh, he was all in, and he was a company man, and he did, Christian guy, and did things the right way. And if the guy, that was the era. I have to understand, if you weren't, popping greenies and going out and getting plowed drunk with the boys, you weren't one of the boys.
Right.
Palmer wasn't going out getting plowed drunk, popping greenies and all that stuff with his teammates.
Right.
And they're leading their life a little different. That was an era where, if the Christian Athletes Fellowship and all that came out of, was born out of that. I mean, base professional athletics in the late '60s and '70s was a cesspool. It was.
Yeah.
And they
Yeah.
weren't, some of these guys weren't exactly doing all the right things. And so I think that hurt Palmer. He sure looked good in, his jockey underpants and his commercials and all that stuff. So, Palmer, he had it going on.
Well, that's an interesting angle. I've never really thought about that,
Yeah.
like with Garvey and
Yeah.
I Palmer, you're probably right. Maybe
Mhm.
was a little too pretty and probably got resented a lot for it
Yep.
by his contemporaries. So, you know, that's an interesting take on that, and I've never
Mhm.
really gave that a lot of thought. But I just it blows my mind how good he was.
Yeah.
Just look at his numbers. I mean, he had like 8 20-win seasons in a row or something like that.
Oh, he's phenomenal. A
Yeah,
phenomenal
3
pitcher.
Cy Youngs. I mean,
Mhm.
come on, but
And
that could
now,
that
right, people look at it differently. His teammates see him differently, view him differently. Same thing with Garvey. They view him, but at that time,
yeah,
it was that era where, if you weren't doing that, then there's something wrong with you. And
right.
those guys weren't doing it. They were doing the right things, going home to the wife and the kids, and wanting to play baseball and win games and do things right.
Yeah,
So I think that's something that's, we don't really think about very often, that distrust element, if you're not, one of the boys, that
yeah,
does, I don't think that exists anymore. Everybody goes their own direction now.
right,
I don't think these guys hang out a bit, you
right.
know.
I can pay somebody to hang out with me if I want to.
Yeah,
But,
right. They're
yeah,
gonna jump in their Lamborghini, and this one's going left and this one's in his Maserati going right. And I don't
right.
think there's that bond of fellowship on the team that there used to be in any sport, really. I don't, when you'll see a team every now and then that, then we'll talk about how close they are and how they do things together. And I can think of this season's Buffalo Sabres in hockey, being a Buffalo guy. And Buffalo's been crap for 12 years, haven't made the playoffs. All of a sudden, these guys hang out together. You'll see them all out together. They're doing things together. They're riding as one, and they're like 3 points out of a playoff spot with like 6 or 7 games ago. They're still probably not going to make the playoffs, but it's been a remarkable season, and a lot of it is due to that, how they are coming together as a team. So once in a while, you'll see it
Cool.
today, but
Well,
makes it good.
I encourage you to watch. I've watched a couple of baseball games this year so far, and with that new pitch
Mhm,
clock,
mhm.
it's moving, man. So
Yeah.
give it it's there's just a little bit more excitement in the air, it seems
Mhm.
like, and the players are not dilly dallying around and screwing around
Yeah.
and lollygagging around the infield or whatever. But it's been a noticeable difference. So give it a shot. I mean,
Yeah, I will. Yeah.
yeah, it's pretty
I just
cool.
love going. I mean,
Yeah,
I'm always going to the Trop and seeing the Rays, or here we got the Tigers and Lakeland, and when the Florida League starts and spring training and all that. So I love going. I mean, I'll sit there all day, and
yeah.
it's just for me television. It's never really translated, and that's why I really appreciate Joe Morgan because he was great. He was a great
Well,
announcer.
he was great. He would describe what was going on better, I think, than anybody. He was like the Tony Romo of baseball announcers. Romo, for all his crap that he
Hmm.
gets, I mean, he does explain the game pretty well to
Oh,
to the
definitely.
layperson. So it's always fun to watch. And Morgan did the same thing. He'd tell you why a pitcher would throw a pitch in a certain situation or things like that. And
Exactly.
it was and John Miller just had a classic baseball voice. So very good announcing team. You're right. You're right. We have any shout outs this week, man?
Let's see. I got a few. Well, Room 6, Aloma High School. We completed 20 classes this week, breaking last week's record of 18. So that record lasted a mere 7 days. So, I talked to you. Oh, these kids,
Yeah.
oh my God, they are wearing me out, but it's a good war out because they're getting it done. So I always try to shout them out. The kids in room number 6, and they're doing great things, turning their lives around. And, we as individuals, sometimes we don't understand how much we need things too. They might need me, but I need them. So
Right.
it's a good marriage. They're doing good. As far as sales and things like that, no, not really. It's been pretty quiet.
Yeah.
Talking to Dominic Miller a little bit today
Yeah.
this week. So Dominic Miller is yeah. So check him out on eBay. With Shark City Sales, and
Park City Collectibles.
Shark City
Yep.
Collectibles, Dominic Miller on eBay. You'll find some neat stuff, and yeah, he's an interesting dude. So I've enjoyed talking to him this week, and
Yeah.
that's it. Oh, before I go, thank you, thank you, thank you, thank you, thank you so much to everybody that participated in my sale this week. Yesterday, I donated 25% of the proceeds to the tornado fund on Salvation Army. It wasn't a ton of money. I'm not a big time seller. If one of my sales cracks a couple $100, it's an incredibly massive sale. I'm a small seller. Just do it more for the experience and the fun of it. But basically sold every card there, and so we're donating $41 to the tornado relief fund, which isn't a ton of money, but hey, it'll help somebody. And again, I thank everybody and urge we as Americans to help those that are in need.
Yeah, and I agree. I did the same on my sale yesterday. I'm still figuring out totals, but it's probably going to be about a similar amount. And just I was watching before I got going yesterday, just watching the news and just seeing devastation and how much so many people have lost. Just and this seems like a particularly vicious cycle of storms. So I
Hmm.
felt like I just had an idea too. Maybe I could help, and you did as well. And appreciate everybody for participating. And it's going to a good place. I heard the Red Cross is still a pretty legit uh, charity to send money to. So I want to make sure that it gets to the people, and I know you do too, that need it. And 40 $41, 40, whatever, 40 however
Hmm.
many, can get somebody some things. So, and that's really, if enough people do that, I call on everybody that can do that to send them some money. So if you haven't.
Absolutely.
Yeah. But other than that, I don't really have a whole lot of shout outs this week either. I mean, I gave Josh a ring for the Ryan, bought the mantle from somebody on a different place. Just buying a bunch and selling a bunch, and it's fun. I enjoy doing this. So, and I
Yeah.
enjoy the show, and it's been great fun, and feel like I've met a friend for life, man. So I love the dog in the background. It's so
Oh
funny.
yeah, she's a trip scout. Yeah, there's always a dog in the background, and Lady Bean's back there, and there's Scout. The other one's out by the pool. So she's living her best life poolside, but these guys are, they're hardcore baseball card fans. They want to know what's going on, but
That's pretty funny,
unfortunately, it's
man.
a little too much excitement for them because then they end up doing this for the show. But they come in, hey, what's going on? Talk to us about Hank Aaron.
I know. I'm interested to see the new studio you sent me a picture of, though, man.
Oh, outside, yeah,
Yeah.
definitely, yeah, yeah, we got that going on. And let's say we've been working hard on the house for about a week now, and got some nice outdoor living going on there.
You need to
And
do a show from out there, man.
yeah, we will next week. We'll
Okay.
hit it up from out there.
All
But
right.
the good Mrs. Ford is out there catching some sunshine right now, so I don't think she'd
Yeah.
appreciate us coming out there.
But other than that, man, I don't have a whole lot else this week.
All
It's been a
right.
good quiet week, and you know, gonna I don't really even know who's in the final game of the basketball. I
San
think it's
Diego,
UConn and somebody.
San Diego, I think.
Yeah. Who you
Yeah, who
got there?
cares? Whatever. I don't know.
Yeah.
Just hope it
I
makes
don't think I've watched.
somebody will be happy. So
Yeah, I don't think I've actually watched more than about 3 minutes of the tournament this year. Just other
mm,
stuff going on. So
yeah, busy. Yeah,
yeah.
that's it. Well, all right,
Yep.
everybody. Yeah, it's good to be with you and back on track today. And everybody love everybody. And if you can help out with these tornado victims, we'd appreciate it. And everybody have a great weekend.
Have a great weekend, everybody.